Yo, yo. How goes it? How goes it? Why does it seem like this thing is dragging? How goes it? How goes it? Is the stream it seems like the stream is lagging. Mmm. Let me see something here. Let's go Netgear. Okay, well, I guess it is what it is. We're gonna make it do what it do. How you doing tonight? Okay. So today we continue our journey. Hey, I loaded in that livery package that you sent over, so I should see what your livery is here in a bit. Probably tomorrow it might end up being the no audio. Hold up. No audio. Wait a second. Wait a second. Mic. Headset. Headset is pilot mic. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I'm like, looks like everything is good here. All right, cool. So, you hear me. Hey, Speedy. How's it going tonight, man? Well, now that you hear me, Jack, I was letting you know that I downloaded that livery pack. That was up, Speedy. I downloaded that livery pack that you sent me, so I should be able to see your livery tonight. I see you over there across the runway there. I apologize. It looks like the stream is lagging behind tonight. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it seems to be behind the curve. So I apologize ahead of time that if you put something in the chat and I don't say anything immediately, it's just because it hasn't caught up with me or something to that effect. Like I said, there's always something in the there's always something going on, but it's all good. So today we can continue on the journey, as I was saying before, and tomorrow I was the goal was to do it today. I found a seaplane package, like landing like water strip package in FlightSim.2, which is perfect because it pretty much puts us south of where we're at. So, and I think where I have it set up tonight, if we make it that far, tomorrow we'll be doing seaplanes. Well, the goal is to do seaplane tomorrow. So, if not tomorrow, should be the day after. But nonetheless, we're definitely getting some seaplane in today. So, that's what's going on. We're back here at St. Bart. Let me see. I have my Accuseason on because when I was looking at the live weather didn't look too good. Let me see. Let me put live weather back on. Yeah, live weather is kind of We got a pretty low ceiling. So I'm gonna go and do my Accuseason weather for today and keep it that way so we can see the sights. Alright, cool. Enough yip yap. Let's get it. So pre-flight is complete. Seat belts are fastened, no packs, all avionics is off, circuit breakers are all in, landing gear is down, flaps are up, cow flaps are open, fuel selector full is tank, lights as required, and let's get her cranked up. Let's prime the pump. Crack the throttle. And we are good there. Okay. All that good stuff. Yada, 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 yada. All right. So, let's get the lights turned off. Let me take a quick sip. And we will be on our way. First stop is Saba. Tango, November, Charlie, Sierra. The fun stuff. Okay. Beacon navs are on. Taxi light is coming on. Brakes are released. Let's get her trimmed out. And first notch flaps coming in. And let's taxi out. Brake check on that. Brakes are good. We rolling. Hey, Sess, how you doing today, buddy? I wonder if I should do a full flap takeoff here. Jack, you in the you got the orange livery today? Cause that's what I'm seeing you as right now. Let me look at this runway. Alright, cool. I got you. Okay. I'm gonna do a full flap takeoff. This runway is kind of short. Alright. Brakes are released. Landing lights and strobes are coming on. There's Jack taxiing out there in front. Say, hey, Jack. Alright. Beautiful. Power's coming in. Airspeed is alive. And rotate. Rate gear is coming up. Beautiful, beautiful. Buzz the cruise liner right there. All right, lights coming off. First notch flaps coming in. We will rotate out on this direction here. Second notch flaps coming up. climb on up out of here. And here we come, Saba. Saba. Later, St. Bart. Had fun with you. All right. Go ahead and close cow flaps there. Everything is looking good. So ever since the new update or the new driver, frame gen for me is once again a no bueno. And that was one of the reasons as to why last night was a no flight for me, because I kept getting crash desktop and I couldn't get, and I don't know what it was. So every time I would swap back to TAA, it would run good for a little bit, but then I would start getting bad stutter. So then I would go no frame gen to DLSS. It would do a little better, but then it starts acting funny. And then I would do frame gen TAA, and then it would get crazy. And so I kept trying to figure out what was going on. I mean, I even scaled back on the settings to see if, you know, doing that would change something, but it didn't. Yeah. So what I ended up doing was sounds familiar. Yep. Both of my flight sims crashed on me since the Windows update. See, and that's what I think it is. I don't think it's the NVIDIA driver. I think it's the Windows update, because I did the Windows update right before I did the new driver update. And before I did the Windows update, I was doing just fine. So I haven't rolled back the Windows update. I might do that tonight. Right now I got it stable for the most part. So I'm back in no frame gen TAA for the time being. But what I would like to do is roll that Windows update back, and then set everything back up. And if everything is good, then I will roll back. Well, I want to roll back Windows first, see if everything check out good, then cool. But if I'm still getting performance issues, then I'm gonna roll back the NVIDIA driver. So hopefully that will solve the problem. And if everything is good, then I'm gonna let it fly for a while. So if anybody's done a Windows update, because that's the only other thing I could think of, because I've tried all the other tricks and none of them seem to work. Hey, let me get some air in here. I wonder why it was so hot in here. So yeah, that's what's going on. So for the rollback for Windows, let me get my thoughts together here. So there's a couple ways that you can go about it. You can, yeah, that's strange, Sess. I think it's just a difference between both sims, you know. Each sim is affected differently according to the updates. But to get back to the Windows rollback, there's two ways you can do it. You can either do a recovery, where you go into your Windows, and what you'll do is you'll set a point from when you did your Windows update, because when you go into the Windows update, it'll let you know when it was last updated. you could roll it back, and let's say you do a recovery. Let's say you did the Windows update today. You can do a recovery and set it back to, let's say, last week. You know, set it back 1 week if you don't know the exact day when you did it, but you know you did it recently. You could do it that way, or sometimes what I would do if I don't feel like doing a complete, you know, situation like that, if you can Google like the previous Windows up, but see, you got to be careful though, because every Windows update is different. But the other way, cause I used to do this too, I normally just do the recovery, but the other way is like you would Google like the newest Windows update and then look at the previous version before then, and then download it from there. But I'd rather just do the recovery. It's just easier because it's already, you know, set up that way. The only thing is you got to be careful with excuse me, with the recovery is if you did any other add-ons, any other downloads, anything else, when you do that rollback through the recovery, all that is gone. So you'll have to start it all over again. Oh, we got a couple people down here. Let's see what we got. There's Jack. We got Tyler the Sailor sneaking up behind you, Jack. Then we got a few people over here at Saba now. But yeah, that's how you do it, Speedy. I think that would be the best way. That's why it's very, very important, especially when it comes to stuff like with like flight sim and stuff, and you're constantly downloading, you know, different add-ons and doing all these other things. Make sure that you have your folders organized somewhere, you know, on your hard drives, on your SSDs, so that way if for whatever reason you have to do a recovery, you'll be able to find all your stuff. Not today, Sess. Like I said, with live weather is too much. The ceiling is very, very, very low, so we're not gonna be able to see much. What is Tyler? Tyler out here doing all kind of stuff. So I'm in the Accuseason weather right now, and we got 9 knots. So it's not that bad. It works actually. Are you talking live weather right now, Jack? Okay. Let me roll it back over to live weather then and see what we got going on here. Trying to set me up for failure. That's what Jack liked to do. Alright, so I guess it don't look too bad. I guess it looked a little more crazy there at ooh, but see, now I'm getting my FPS dropped. Man, yeah, I think it's that Windows. It's gotta be that Windows. I gotta roll that back. Let me go back to my my regular weather, because I just lost performance. That ain't cool. Come on. Let's get some of these clouds in. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it as is. There's a lot going on there. Okay, so technically we should be landing runway 30. But I'm gonna bring it in. Yeah. I think 30. Yeah. Because if we try to land 1-2, we got a tailwind. That ain't cool. Alright, let's slow her down here. Speed checks, gears coming down. First notch of flaps. Second notch. Tyler the Sailor is all over you, Jack. What's up, whatever? Out here wilding out. I'm right behind you, Jack. Is that somebody with a Boeing sitting on the runway? It sure is. I tell you, people.
500.
All right, gears down, flaps are down. There, that person go with a force. Yeah. I don't know why you thought you was about to take off. We got a 7-knot headwind. Not so much of a crosswind. Well, slight crosswind, but not too bad. Did you land, Jack? No, you didn't. You just did touch go. All right, cool. Everybody in my way. Frying rat. Get down. Ooh, bad one. Get off. Alright. There's Saba. Oh, you bit the dust? Well, it's kind of hard to really do it the right way when everybody is in your way. Well, there's Saba. We are off to Tango November Charlie Echo. And look at that beautiful morning sunrise, y'all. Just gorgeous. Simply amazing. Okay, so we got a couple minutes here. So let's get started with the topic of today, shall we? Topic of the day is plug and play versus DIY. Now, what I mean by that. Plug and play is you buy all the panels, your avionics, everything is USB, HDMI. You put the panel in your cockpit or you set it up on your desk, however you do it, and you just start flying. Or you do the DIY way and you go, let's say, the mobiflight route, and you do the Air Manager desktop route, where you manually build all of your switches, you build all of your panels, your avionics, all your, you know, all your knobs. You do all that from the ground up. Could not join Discord. Do you have another link? Or both, hybrid, yeah. I thought I fixed it. Bomb B. I'm gonna call you that. That's your nickname, Bomb B. If you go to the home page of my channel and click on the link there. I think what happened was I never changed. I thought I did, but the link that's actually in like all of my videos, I think that's a bad Discord. I need to go back in there and clean that up. I'm glad you reminded me. I thought I fixed it, but I guess I didn't. So yeah, if you go to the my home page on my YouTube channel and click on that link, that one should be it. Let me know if you have an issue with that, and what I'll do is I'll shoot that link to you. Okay, so Seth says both, which is hybrid. Jack says both. Speedy says both. Okay, cool. I'm with the both as well. I'm more of the DIY side. But when it comes to certain things, both the plug and play just comes in better. Like for instance, the autopilot. Now my very first panel, my first avionics panel build, I actually did a full GNS 530 and a 140 autopilot. I wired all that up and got it all working using the same tablet. It was just a different setup at the time. I mean, it got the job done. So it's not hard to do. I think what makes it different now is having a 3D printer, so that way your panels look a little bit more, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more professional in a sense. So you can really make it look good, just like if you bought a plug and play. Well, but here's the thing with the DIY, Speedy. The cool thing about the DIY is whatever problem you run into, you can fix it. If you go out and drop, let's say $300, $400 on a panel from somebody's store, or from, you know, somebody's, you know, their product or whatever. Let's say it goes bad. A switch goes bad, an encoder goes bad, the screen no longer works, whatever the case may be. You might have warranty, but now you got to ship it back. Then you got to deal with customer service, you know, and now your sim is down, or you can still fly without it. Versus DIY, you find a problem and you fix it. 9 times out of 10, if you have, like, I know all the little issues I have with mine. Like one of my gen test light over there on the right hand side, it is out. I know why it's out. I just got to get back there and reconnect the wire, because some of my stuff, like I said, is still on the you know, keep it G status. And just when you think you have everything set up correct, you realize one small movement or pull of this wire can snatch another wire loose. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I honestly just prefer DIY altogether, but I'm not knocking plug and play at all. DIY for me, for one, it saves your money. 2, being able to do a DIY, you can create your own panels that some companies just don't create. Like nobody creates a bonanza style anything. So you get what I mean. They make Cessna panels, but they don't make. There's no company that do, you know, bonanza panels and things like that. So being able to do a DIY, I can do it myself, and it's cheaper, and I can set the switches up the way I want. You know, there's no generic box, not a these switches, you know, handles any aircraft, which is nothing wrong. Like I said, I know there's a lot of people that do have like desktop sims and things like that, and you know, that'll work for them. But from a enclosed standpoint, not all plug and plays are good unless you're doing the the bigger things. Now, if you're doing a Cessna 172, you could pretty much build a whole Cessna 172 on a plug and play system, because there's so many companies out there that has recreated all the panels and, you know, all of that good stuff. So you're good there. But if you're building a sim based off of an aircraft that most people or most companies, you know, haven't even attempted to make, you know, now you're doing, if you do a plug and play, you could do a plug and play, but is your cockpit going to look like the aircraft that you want to fly? And that was going to be the last one there too. Like, plug and play, yeah, you don't have to worry about nothing. You plug in, you play, but boy, it's going to plug a hole in your pocket. It's definitely going to do that for sure.
500.
Next stop, Jack, is Tango Kilo Papa Kilo. Alright, let's slow her down. And then, you know, not only that, you know, I kind of think about, you know, the saying goes for the people in the car and truck world. You know, you have the built versus bought, you know, battle. And with DIY, you know, it's a build. But once again, like I said, I'm not, ooh, butter. I'm not knocking the people that do the plug and play. I'm just speaking, you know, voicing my opinion on what I prefer. Not as fun though. Really enjoy the satisfaction of design and build yourself. Yeah, that's what yeah, exactly, Seth. That's what I was just saying. You know, it's so much different when you build, and doing DIY, you learn a new skill. And when it comes to building a simulator, whether it's a desktop version and you slowly build it into a enclosed. Hey, 42, how you doing? Learning how to do simple things through mobiflight, like adding a button or a switch. Like, once you learn how, like, I remember when I first started learning how to use mobiflight, and I'm working on my sim parts as we speak. There you go. Once you, I remember, let me get my mouth right, my head all over the place. When I first opened up mobiflight, I was just like, I have no idea what's going on. This is a new language to me. But, you know, going on YouTube and watching Captain Bob, you know, watching Sebastian, you know, talk you through like the first, you know, just the basics. Here's a switch. This is how you wire it to the Arduino. This is how you add the switch function. This is how you go in and add this switch to make this light turn on. Once I figured out how to do that and I turned my first switch and it worked in the sim, oh, it was on and popping after that. Because you have different levels of mobiflight. You know, you have the basics, you know, press the button to do this. Your taxi light, landing light, those are all basic skills for mobiflight. Then you can step into, you know, the little more intermediate where, you know, let's say you have a 3-position toggle switch like mine, like my flap switch. It's actually an on switch, but I use it for 1 position, full up. Off position is actually first notch of flaps or approach, and then the third, which is on again, is flaps full. That's kind of a little, you know, intermediate into that. And then you have ridiculous stuff like the trim wheel, like motorizing a trim wheel with a potentiometer and a stepper motor, or creating your wet compass, putting a stepper motor in, and it actually turns with, you know, with the aircraft. The thing I want to fly too many different planes, so for just one. And see, and it's like that, Jack. Not everybody want to be tied into just one aircraft, and that's cool. But you know, you could still, even if you didn't create like a specific aircraft model, you could still build a fully enclosed multi-style setup to where it suits any aircraft you want. Like, in the back of my mind, I've actually thought about building another one of these. But what I want to do this time around is it's going to be kind of universal, but not quite. It'll be more universal in the sense of, how do I put it? Still within the GA realm, but can accommodate, you know, a plethora of single engines. I mean, as of now, I mean, I can still use this as a Cessna. I could use it as a Mooney. You know, I could use it as all of that. But let's say I decide I wanna jump into like a Cessna 310, or, you know, a Baron, you know, 58 or something like that. I could still use this, which I've done before. Only problem is I only have one throttle. Now, of course, you know, I'll just set both throttles to one and keep it that way. So what I'm thinking is, what if I built another platform similar to this, but what I can do is I can change little things within the cockpit to satisfy the need of the aircraft that I'm flying, if that makes sense. So if I wanted to fly a twin engine, I could just pull this whole thing out, slide in, you know, a different center console that has dual throttle, you know, a dual TPM setup. Let's say I wanted to fly, I don't know, let's say a TBM. I could pull that out and put a TBM throttle quadrant in here, and maybe I could take the top part, the panel, off, and then swap it out for a G1000 or a G3000 type of setup, or whatever the TBM that I'm flying. So pretty much everything can be moved and relocated based off the aircraft that I'm flying, and that'll make it easier. So I can literally just take the whole panel off, and everything will be wired to that panel. So when I take it off, it already will have its own power USB hub, so everything plugs into that, and then I'll just have one USB cable that plugs into the PC. And then when I'm ready to swap out, I just take this panel out, put the new one in, plug it in, call it a day. I mean, it'll be a little bit more, but the concept in my thoughts is there. Right. So you can, and you can do that. Like for mine, like the way I have it wired, this is pretty much, this is it. I'm not messing with none of this. I'm not changing anything in this sim. But to what you're saying, you know, the idea is to be able to change out panels according to, you know, whatever aircraft you want to fly, and still have the cockpit set up, you know, as you want. Like for instance, I know for the let me slow this booger down. I'm coming in way too fast. So I created these panels for the Cessna 172 that I'll be flying here within the next day or so, because the way I have my aircraft set up, or the airplane is set up, if gears coming down first, not your flaps. it'll look weird when y'all see the windows, because you'll actually see like the bottom of the wing, and it's gonna look weird. So I created panels that I can tuck up under there, so that even when I'm in the 172, it still fits. Everything still looks uniform. So you could even do that, you know, with, you know, your somewhat of your side windows, you know. Like, I know this is how the Bonanza looks, so when I go to fly a Cessna, I pop those panels in. When I know I fly a TBM, I know those windows are shaped a little different, so I create panels that I can just kind of tuck in here to kind of give the TPM vibe, or the TBM vibe. And like I said, I mean, it'll be a little bit, but if you do it the right way,
500,
and set it up to where it's like, okay, instead of having multiple tablets and multiple monitors, set it up to where you can pull different monitors from each panel to place in the other ones, so you don't have 3 different aircraft panels, and you have, you know, all these extra what's the word I'm looking for, like switches, and or not switches, but other monitors. You can just pull those monitors out of each one and just replace them, and it'll still be plug and play. I'm fast. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. There's 75. Baby bounce, but that'll work. Alright, gear is coming up. Next stop is Tango Kilo Papa November. That's also a problem with me, because I fly all types of planes that one sim won't accommodate. So if I'm flying a GA plane, I could use an enclosed sim I make, but also the option to use the desk setup. Well, Seth, the cool thing about your setup is, though, after you did the change on yours, it's no longer really considered a Cessna in a sense. And I mean, how many GA aircrafts run a G1000 suite? Almost all of them at this point. Also, moving my yoke and joystick back and forth between the sim and desk is another issue. Well, cause I'm assuming with yours 4.2, you actually clamp your the yoke on your desktop, correct? Or however you have your setup. I don't know where Jack went. Jack is out here in the world doing his thing. Okay. Yeah, that could, cause I'm assuming. So, what do you use your joystick now that you got that yoke, or yeah, the alpha yoke? What do you do with the joystick? I mean, for I read that wrong. That wasn't Cess that said that. That was 4.2. I got you. Cirrus, Airbus, fighters, or other GA planes that use a joystick, but I do probably fly your plane with joysticks every once in a while. Okay, so you could. Now is your goal to set up an enclose for like a dual seater? Because I see a lot of people that do one seaters that do the same thing. Like they'll have their yoke set up for regular yoke aircraft, and then they'll have like a little panel on the side for like the Airbus and things like that. But you also said you do fighters too, so that one right there is definitely a kind of a fork in the road with that one. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, swapping between GA and Airbuses, there are so many. There's a lot of people out there that do both. I don't know if you're in any flight sim groups on Facebook, but there's tons of guys that do that. But maybe you could look around in the groups and see what other people are doing, and kind of get some ideas and get brainstorm. Okay, let's get set up here real quick. Man, this is some gorgeous water over here.
$500.
Oh, I see you, Jack. I knew you was out there lurking somewhere. Alright, slow it down a little bit. A little bounce. That'll work though. Maybe I didn't explain it right. I will fly most GA planes in an enclosed sim, but when I do an Airbus flight or something, the enclosed won't work with. I'll use VR with the desktop, which I will have to move things like the yoke back to my desk to do. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Plum fart tart. I'm sorry, 42. The dude named himself Plum Fart Tart. I tell you, people, that was funny. So what if? So if you did an enclosed for GA, right? And then next location, Tango Alpha Papa Alpha, Jack. Little stretch, about 46 miles. So I'm probably gonna climb out to 2,000 and then level off there and go direct. So the only issue is just moving the yoke back and forth from the enclosed over to the desktop. But outside of that, everything else is pretty much a simple situation. I mean, because if, well, yeah, because VR is pretty much a simple setup for the most part, right? I would assume. Like I said, I don't have much with VR because I've never done VR at home. I've played around with VR and other places, but not VR with sim. So I can't really speak too much on that. But what I will say, the alpha yoke is, it's not too much to handle, I fly GA, primarily Cessna and Piper 99% of the time, and in airline flights mostly on the weekends because it takes longer to set the route and fly it, so I would use the enclosed 99% of the time. Well, I mean, you're kind of answering your own questions there. I mean, so if you fly airliners, let me go back. So you say Airbus, right? So outside of that, I mean, the Airbus just use the joystick. I mean, unless you're flying, like Boeings and things like that. But if you're mainly doing an Airbus for an airliner, then there wouldn't be no need to move the yoke from the enclosed. And I mean, if you're gonna be flying GA 99% of the time, what's 2 or 3 minutes to take the yoke out of the enclosed and slide it over to the desktop to do the VR thing? Jack, I am currently, I'm 170 indicated. I'm doing about 184 on the ground. Figure I'll let you know, just in case. I know you behind me somewhere. I also don't know how I would mount the yoke in the sim since it's a clamp. Well, if you can do it a couple ways. So how most of us do it, because, and if you're talking about doing like an enclosed like this or like SES or something like that, somebody like that, most of the time you either have to, well, SES, his whole setup is different. His whole yoke setup is custom to his sim. But for like me and let's say Skytation, who also runs the alpha yoke, you have to extend the shaft out, because if you don't, you're not going to have enough room to move the yoke. Your pitch action is not going to be enough. So if you want, and now I'm speaking in the sense of if like you wanted to do like a permanent, like you wanted this yoke permanently mounted in your sim, you wouldn't need the clamps. You could just screw it down to the behind the panel, if that makes sense. Now, if you didn't want to do that and you didn't want to tinker with extending the shaft and all that other stuff, I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll screw in, or they'll build a platform in front of the panel, if that makes sense, and then they'll clamp the yoke down there, so it's still in the same position, but it's on a piece of board or some type of platform underneath. And that way, if you still wanted to move it out or move it around, you can easily just unclamp it and take it as you may. And you're not going to see that platform because the yoke is going to be sitting on top of it. You just got to make sure that whatever platform that you're using, that is sturdy enough when you're yanking and banking. Because that would suck if you yanking and next thing you know the platform come loose. Now you're holding your yoke and the plane is, on its way to the ground. So we are headed to St. John's. It's our next step, or next stop. Touch and go, shall I say. I wouldn't want to hide the body of the yoke behind the panel because I would use the magneto and... Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a simple fix right there. Like you said, just add the platform, clamp it down, and you set. And like I said, with the yoke sitting on top of it, you know, it doesn't, it hides it so it doesn't kill the immersion. I'm trying to think who. There's a lot of people that actually have done their sims that way. I'm gonna have to go and dig for some older videos. I know there's a few guys I know. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But when I run across those videos, or if I run across somebody's post in one of the Facebook groups, I'll shoot you that information in the Discord so you can check it out. At least so you can have an understanding of what I'm talking about. But it's fairly simple. It's nothing complicated at all. And also to get back to what we was talking about too, as far as, you know, if you want to do like a panel swap in your sim, me personally, I feel like the best approach to do that is use tablets. Use tablets, use iPads, because all of those things are easy in, easy out situations. Like, for instance, I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know if I've ever showed this to you, but so in the Bonanza, if you actually look at a real Bonanza, this panel, the 6-pack panel, it actually pokes out a little bit. So there's like, you know, there's some contrast there. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, I gotta use my iPad for other things. So I gotta be able to take this iPad in and out as I please. So now I got a little bit of trickery going on because I have it tight up in here, and so now I have to do things like I gotta take the bezel out and pop out a couple of my little buttons here on the autopilot so that I can slide it out. But it slides out. But just to show you, all I gotta do is just slide this out here. I don't know if you can see that. Matter of fact, I'll do a real one. How much we got? We got 20 miles. Here, I'll take that out real quick. So there's the bezel there, and I just take out a few of these buttons here, and then I'm able to slide my whole iPad out. And then when I'm ready, I just slide it back in. And I have a permanent cable back there so that when I slide it in, I just plug it in so it always stays charged back here. And that's how I do that. Now this one, no, I need you. Now the JPI, that one's permanent. But if you wanted to make it, you know, movable, you can do that. You know, even with the 750. And the cool thing about the 750 650, that is a standalone that's a standalone, what's the word I'm looking for, app or software. So you can use the 750 650 with any aircraft because it talks to the sim directly. So there's not a pop-out panel. So I can easily take this out, put it in another sim or in another panel, and we're good to go. Agreed. Tablets, stream desks, etc. can create multiple switches, etc. and sliders, and you can load different profiles for different aircraft. Yeah, I mean, it's really not as hard. I mean, it's going to take, you know, a little bit of thought process, you know, for sure, to really set your panels up the way you want them. But it's definitely a doable thing. Like, what I know now, I would have done that with this sim, but it's okay though. Oh, let me put my bezel back in. How do you mount the iPad with the 6-pack on it? What's behind the panel that's holding it? Okay, so let me get the camera turned around here and turn some light on here. So, see if I can make sense of this. So the panel is pretty much sitting on a piece of cardboard. So if you're looking at the panel, you can see the 6-pack. So it's kind of sandwiched in there. So if this is the front of the panel, so you can see the 6-pack from here. There's the panel. The iPad slides in, and underneath I have another piece, or like pretty much 2 pieces of cardboard that are put together to keep the gap between the two. So when I slide it in, it sits just snug on top of that cardboard, and there's enough gap to where it can slide in, and then it's braced up against the back of the panel. So it's just pretty much sandwiched in there. And then to support it a little more, the screws that I use to actually screw this panel in, I have it set to where I can adjust the screws. So if I can adjust the screws in and out as I see fit. So if I feel like if the panel is too tight, I'll just loosen up the screws, and it'll open the panel up, you know, a little more. But that's how they sit. It's nothing fancy. Like I said, it's cardboard, baby. Cardboard and some tape, and I promise you, I'll build a whole brand new bonanza. All right, we're getting close. Let's start bringing it down. But yep, that's pretty much it. Just sandwiched in between some cardboard. And then for the for this iPad, I pretty much just taped the mess out of that one. I found a sweet spot, and good old tape is holding that one in place. But it's an iPad mini, so it's very light, so it doesn't take a whole lot. I just taped up enough to where I know it's not going to slide anywhere. Cause last time I had it sitting, I built a cardboard case for it, and then had that taped up in there. But what was happening was the iPad was slowly sliding down because the little case that I created wasn't exactly the right size. So during the annual, I took that apart and just taped the mess out of it to the back of the panel. Alright, we are inbound to St. John's. VC Bird. So do you think I can make a simple enclosed with minimal switches and use refurbished cheap TVs and iPads for just... Oh, of course, 4.2. That you man, what you just said was right up my alley. I'm telling you, it is. Oh man, that's the easy part right there. Like, okay, for instance, like if you don't have access to 2x4s, right? To actually build a frame, you don't have to use 2x4s. Use your head. You can go and, I mean, I don't know what the price of PVC pipes are nowadays, but you could use PVC pipes and some elbows to create the frame, and then wrap the frame with, you know, like I said, you could use foam board from Lowe's. Like I said, you can get a huge sheet. That's what my ceiling and my panels on the inside are made out of. You can buy a huge sheet for like $10, and I think I end up using a sheet and a half. Well, those numbers is all for everything else, but this is 2+ years. You're talking, and most of that is the PC alone. Like, I think with everything for the new PC build, I think I end up topping out around 2,500. Graphics card being pretty much almost a third, if not, I would say at least a third of that. And then, you know, you factor in TVs. Now, like I said, when I first started my build, I had found a 50-inch Vizio TV for $50, and that was the first thing. That was the first TV I bought for this sim, and that's what I used. And then I saved up, and then when I decided to go, you know, all three 55s, I went from there. And I mean, even my 55s, they're not the most expensive 55s either. They're not the cheapest, of course, but they're not the most expensive. I've always been a fan of TCL. I've been rocking with TCL, man, well over 10 years now. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, when the 5090 comes, it's gonna be 5090, a kidney, 5 more jobs, a couch, some new blankets, a nice fluffy pillow. Yeah, that's what it's really gonna cost. But as far as the actual build itself for two, I probably have. And see, that's the thing too, because the wood that I had, the 2x4s I used, that's all free wood. I didn't pay for this stuff. I had 2x4s laying around the house, and then, you know, I have a buddy of mine, like I said, that he does carpentry, so he always has extra, you know, wood and stuff laying around. So he just tossed me some pieces here and there, and I made it work. But the build itself, like the frame without the electronics, man, $100. I would say 150 at the most, and that's stretching it, honestly. I don't even think I've really actually spent 100 on material. Oh, I'm floating. And a bounce. Alright. And we are back off. Gears coming up, lights coming out. I bought 355 for a little over $6. Yeah, I mean, I think, and you got a deal on yours, because I think for me, I end up spending, yeah, you got me beat. I think I was right around the 9 range. Are the TVs on the side 90-degree angles from the front? No, they're 90 degrees. So technically, I got about a 270-degree field of view. But I think it's really more of a 220, 230, 220, 240, somewhere around there. I mean, like I said, I can look. I don't know if you can really see that. But the TV tucks behind the back of this window here, so it goes back at least another 3 or 4 inches, so I can actually look all the way back. And then the same on this side, where you can kind of see the end of this one a little bit, because this sim is not asymmetrical. It's close enough, but You get the picture. Cost me a few hundred. Yeah, I mean, and like you don't even have to buy brand new. Like I said, you don't have to buy brand new TVs, man. Go on Marketplace. TVs are being sold for nothing now. I mean, people are like, you know, just upgrade it to a 75. I got this 55. I'll let it go for 75 or best offer. Pitch, hey, I got 40 bucks. What you trying to do? Maybe 50. And you just piece it out. Now, you know, it might take you a little bit to get all 3 TVs. But if you start off with one, and then, you know, you save up, get you another one, save up, get you another one. To get the bases in, everything doesn't have to match. You know, in a like, if you have the money to invest in it, then cool, by all means get everything matching because it makes life easier. But you can still you can have 3 different TVs and still get the same results. I mean, you have to work the colors and the settings within the TVs to kind of get everything to look, you know, somewhat similar. But it's definitely doable. See, that's the hardest part. I would need to get 355 TVs and still have the whole sim cost a few hundred. Okay, so this is how you go about that. So getting 355 for under 100, that's not going to happen. I mean, unless you just come across some deals. First things first, Marketplace needs to become your next thumb scroll app. So instead of scrolling through Instagram, there's people out there that let stuff go. I actually got, a few years ago. Oh, my bad. Jack, we're headed to Tango Romeo Papa Golf. I forgot to say that. I know you follow me anyway, but I just figured I'd let you know. You probably already kind of seen where we was headed anyway. A few years ago, I got a 65-inch TCL. Was it a? No, it wasn't a TCL. I think it was a Samsung. For free. The lady was literally right around the corner from me. I was just scrolling through for Marketplace, just looking at deals like I always do. She was letting it go for free because they bought a new one because the Wi-Fi didn't work in that TV, and it was past the warranty. So they was like, "Hey, if you know what you're doing, you can have it." So I said, "I'll be there." I went over there, picked it up, literally loaded it up in my truck, brought it back home, did some research. Within 10 minutes, Wi-Fi was back up and running. I turned around and sold it for $300. So there's always deals going on in Marketplace. You just got to keep your eyes on it at all times and catch them. And most of the time when people put their price, unless they say firm on Marketplace, it's pretty much saying this is what I would like to get, but I'm willing to budge a little bit. So if you have to start off with, 155 for the time being, then start off with 155 and just use that until. And if you can get a 2 32-inch monitors for the sides, then fine, use 2 32-inch monitors for the side. That's a lot cheaper until you can get yourself in a position to get 2 more 55s. Because once you get the first one, it's on the pop. And then, like I said, I didn't start off with 3. I started off with 1, and it wasn't even 55. It was a 50. Because you got to build the shell first anyway. Now you can definitely build the shell and have it completely enclosed for less than $100. That's a fact. I can pretty much guarantee you that. I mean, because honestly, but Well, see, here's the thing too, because when it comes to the TVs, you kind of have to plan it out. I have somewhat of carpentry skills, so when I was piecing this thing together, like what these two side TVs sitting on was not there when I first built this platform, or when I first built the enclosed. So what I ended up doing was, when I got the two side monitors, what I did was I added an extra 2x4 on the outside of the shell itself. And what I have up top, so the TVs are actually just resting on those 2x4s, and then I have L brackets that overlaps them to keep them obviously from falling. You know, so they're literally just sitting on the 2x4, and then there's an L bracket just holding it, you know, in place. So like I said, they're crudely mounted, but they're not going nowhere. They're stable. I found an HDMI hub that will take 3 or 4 inputs at once and output one output to the GPU. Is that a bad idea? Well, if you're talking about trying to run a multi-monitor setup, I do not think you could. That will work if you're using that for like all your tablets or your panels and, you know, all of that. But to do a multi-monitor setup for like an outside display, you got to be able to use all the display ports, or, you know, all of the ports on the GPU. But if I'm thinking correctly, that almost sounds like, let me see, HDMI hub that will take 3 or 4 inputs and output one output. So that's almost like a triple head to go. That's pretty much what that sounds like. That is, and a triple head to grow is all it's doing is giving you 3 monitors, and it's taking one window and it stretches it across those 3 monitors. Bad part about that is, in a multi-monitor setup like this, you don't want to go on a stretch window mode, because what happens is the picture is distorted. And if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, you don't even really need that necessarily, because NVIDIA has surround, which does the same thing. And you could test it for yourself to see how that looks. That would be a bad idea. You really need each monitor to be on its own port, so that you can actually have separate windows. Okay. HDMI hub 3 and 1 out. Yeah, that sounds pretty much like a triple head to go was, I think. Well, I mean, that's old technology. I mean, the triple head to go, they was using, I want to say, like DVI or VGA outputs, but it was pretty much the same thing. It just HDMI is just newer connections, I guess you could say. So you would run 3 monitors into this one box, and then 1 output. And so yeah, that's pretty much what that is. Now, that would be a good idea, let's say, if you wasn't using side monitors and you just wanted to run like 3 monitors up front. You could do that, and that would work good for it. All right. Speed checks gears coming down. First notch flaps coming in. This is Gerald John A. Osborne International. That's a nice little cliff there. It's a little airstrip here too. Looks like it. Now my good buddy of mine, Rob, can't talk tonight. What's going on with my mouth? He has a pretty much cardboard sim setup as well, and he has 3 monitors up front. And the way he has this setup, man, it's a pretty cool setup. He posts in the Facebook groups all the time.
500.
So he has more like a, I would say something like a 180 almost, 180 field of view. But it's all in the front, but it still looks good though, because it's still completely enclosed. Oh, this is about to be a bad landing. Can I get on the ground? Ooh. This runway is short, Jack. Gear coming up. Let's clear those trees. Alright, gear is up. Flaps are coming up. Oh, wow. Look at that. Alright, we're off to Tango Foxtrot Romeo. We're gonna have to swing around these hills, this island head here to get around it. Okay, cool. So let's see. I have 2 monitors on my desk and we'll have 3 screens in the sim. So I'm trying to find a way to plug all 5 into the GPU without having to unplug to switch between sim and desk. Okay, so there's, now you could do that. That HDMI hub 3-in-1 out. You could do that. Well, now Speedy was telling me that they have a I'm gonna cut through here. There's another thing that they have where it's a HDMI to USB, or there's an adapter where you could plug in. You could plug 2 in, but you can it'll read different. It's not a splitter, I guess you can say. So you'll plug two monitors in, but you can set up 2 separate windows. So maybe that's something that you could use, because let me see, 5 screens. Yeah. So in your situation, okay, but you know what I'm talking about, Speedy, because I can't think of the name of it, but I remember you was telling me about it. But I think that might be the best bet for you. I mean, but for the time being, you have two monitors, so you can use the two. So you're using the two monitors now for your outside view, right? There's 4 ports. So let's say you did the. So instead of doing the 355s, like the full wraparound, and you went with, let's say, 3 monitors up front, right? So that HDMI, the HDMI hub 3 and 1 out, that will work perfect for you, because then you could take that 1 monitor, or take the 3 monitors with that hub, stretch it across all 3. Now you have a wider, outside view, right? And you're only taking out 1 port. Then you have the 2 other monitors for, whatever else that you need. Oh, that's cool. You look off to the left there. There's St. John's from 2 touch and goes ago. You should be able to load a link in the chat. Like I said, if not, he's in the Discord. You can shoot him the link in there as well, Speedy. Jack Sparrow, where you at, my boy? I know you back there somewhere. The main reason I got Facebook is to use Marketplace, but I'm not old enough and don't have an ID to show, so I can't use my account in Marketplace. Hey, Norn, how you doing? Oh, man. Well, that's what's up. That's what's up. What you up to? 3 o'clock low. Alright, I got you. Had to dip the wing real quick. I use my partner's phone for Marketplace. Getting some Oreos at 11:30 at night. Tell your mama. Parents. Oh, okay, I got you. Ah. Okay. So, let me see. So could you do like an exchange or something? Like, say, hey, mom and dad, I would like to purchase this. So here is my money, and then you go get it for me. All right, 4-2. Well, we gonna keep working at it little by little, man. We gonna get you there. You have a good one, man. We catch you on the next one. Is Bomb B still in the building? Bomb B, you still there? Just wanted to see if he was able to get into the Where is all of this coming from? Why is there a landing gear in my living room? Can somebody explain that to me? Yeah, he's a young one. He's trying to get a sim built, but he's very limited as far as, you know, being able to acquire parts and things of that nature. Got a Tootsie Roll hoodie for my birthday. Oh, okay. I'll take a look at it once I'm done with the stream. I'll make fun of you anyway. Man, you know, as a good kid though, I love the he's really about this life, you know. I hope, you know, he can get to a point where he can actually start building. He hasn't contacted me yet for assistance. Yeah, he's got a lot. He will though. I think, you know, once he gets into that position. He a good kid. So we are 21. You know, I can't quite remember. Honestly, I know he's not that old. I don't want to tell you the wrong answer, but I would say anywhere between 10 and young teenager ish. I know he told me before. I just can't remember. He's a baby though. But I get it. Trying to do everything I can to help him get that thing built with little to no money. Yeah, I don't really care to fly for a name tag. Every once in a while I'll turn them on. Just to see who's around me or what's going on, but I kind of like them off. Like you said, it just kind of just makes it more, you know, realistic, I guess you can say. Now right now I have it on. Trying to figure out who this Mr. Abe's is. But that's about it. You still down there off my wingtip? Yep, I see you. Alright, I'm gonna start bringing it down a little bit because we are 16 miles out. Wind's been pretty consistent with Accuseason at about 9. How's the winds in real life? Or real world weather, shall I say, Jack? Got a 9 knot tailwind pretty much. Ah, okay. Speaking of weather, y'all, why come? Who else about to catch this nonsense this week with this snowstorm that's coming through the U.S. They calling for snow here where I'm at on the coast. I thought we was done with that mess. I'm over it. I'm over the snow. I'm over the cold. I'm over the rain. It been pretty much. It has rained more in the last 2 to 3 weeks than almost all of last year. It seems like. When did y'all got snow on that last go around? Cause I know everybody got snow down that way. I know even Louisiana had got snow. That was a weird. That was a weird storm. Like they saying Texas about to see like negatives. Yeah, we end up getting like 5. We got about 5-6 inches. That's a lot for us over here. Okay, where are we at? I am 2,000. No, we're 2,700, 4,000. Got the runway ahead. So autopilot is coming off. So this is Point Pitre. I think that's how you say that. Not quite a 45, but it's close enough to a 45 to enter the right downwind for runway 30. We are high. Let's slow her down and drop some of this altitude. I gotta start working on my next project, which will be yet another milestone break for me because I have to create a it's not a rack and pinion. Well, I guess it's something. What do you call it? Y'all help me out. What do you call it when you it's like a stationary block, and then the gear rolls over it. What do you call it? Help me out. My brain is shot. Speed checks, gears coming down. First notch of flaps coming in. And let's banker. Fighter style, baby. Anybody know what I'm talking about? So what I'm trying to do is nope. Alright, so for
500.
because what I want to do is I want to my first go around with this yoke is not going to be a force feedback, but I want to make it a motorized style yoke, if that makes sense, right? So the same thing that I did with my gears down, flaps down, same thing that I did with my trim wheel, I want to do for the yoke. So when flying manually, I have complete control of the yoke, pitch and roll, right? But then when I turn on autopilot, the motors will then turn on and the yoke will then move according to the aircraft's movement. So if I'm rolling left, it goes left. If I'm pitching up, it actually, slides out. So I gotta make a gear. I think what's the easiest one is to make is going to be the roll, because all I have to do is make a gear that goes around the shaft. And which will be connected to the what's the word I'm looking for? The stepper motor. So when I'm flying in manual mode, my input is going straight to the potentiometer, and then when autopilot comes on, the stepper motor is going to be connected to the shaft via, well, it'll really be two gears, so I'm gonna need to make one gear that goes around the shaft, and then the stepper motor, I gotta figure out how to put the stepper motor on, which means more than likely I'm gonna have to raise this TV up. So that I can get all that under there, because the TV is literally sitting right on top of the yoke. Like, I got just enough room to move the yoke. So, but in other words, I'll keep it short. I'll keep it at 2,000. Ooh, I love beautiful water. That's a Willie E. Coyote hinge. Wile E. Coyote. I think I said that all wrong. Okay, so you're talking about the roll. Like I said, if the shaft is here, I want to put the stepper motor on top and have the two pulleys rotating on each other, right? So that's for that one. For the pitch, the stepper motor is going to have to be on the side, right? With a, do I have a cap or something? So if the stepper motor's here, and then there's a pulley, on the edge of it, on the shaft of the stepper motor, underneath is going to be like a rack, almost, with so that, you know, the gear can roll back and forth, so that when I turn on autopilot, and if it wants to pitch up and down, it has, like, the stepper motor has something to, you know, roll back and forth on. I just can't think of the name of it, but it's like a rack. I just can't think of the rack and pulley thing. Did you program that motorized trim wheel with mobiflight? Yes, I did. Oh no! Oh no! Is the camera picking it up? Bring it down a little bit. You should be able to see it. It's right here. But yeah, in essence, that's what I would like to do. So it is a rack and pinion. That's what I said at first, but I thought it was called something else. I'm thinking rack and pinion like a car, and so my brain was like, that's not what a rack and pinion look like for what I'm talking about. But it's still a rack and pinion, right? So I wasn't losing my mind. Nope. I know I get to talk, like my brain, what my brain sees versus what my mouth says sometimes don't go together. So I know y'all be listening like, what is he talking about? Yeah, that's pretty much what I want. A rack and pinion. And the good thing about it is, like I said, it's not going to be a force feedback, because first of all, they're stepper motors. I mean, you could use stepper motors, but the fluidity of the motions won't be there, because you're going to feel the micro steps within the stepper motor. So that's not a big, you know, for me, it's not going to work. Because you really need servo motors, and them things are not cheap. Well, see, here's the thing, Speedy. So my alpha yoke, I've taken the cover off, the top cover, because it was too big and bulky. And so by taking the cover off, it gave me some more room. So that's why my TVs are pretty much level. But if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have, the front TV is gonna have to come up, because I'm gonna have to be able to put the roll stepper motor on top. The reason why I don't want to go and redo a whole new yoke system is because if you actually look at the Alpha's yoke mechanism, it's perfect. Like, I really don't have to do a whole lot. Like, in my mind, I know what I have to do. I just have to, I'm gonna have to work at it. Once I get everything to fit, it's a wrap. Everything else is gonna be a plug and play after that for me. So if you want to see, I actually did a tutorial for my motorized trim wheel. There's a lot of guys that I know how to do a motorized or a force feedback yoke. I'm just not gonna do it with this one. I'm gonna eventually I'm gonna build a whole new system for that. How far are we at? We 9 miles out. Let me come on down. Yeah, them servo motors ain't nothing to play with. Now, y'all know me. I'm all about workarounds, right? Because then, you know, when you look at it, then you got to make sure that the servo motors that you buy are even worth your time. So, like, for instance, like, if you know, if you want to kind of compare how many Newton meters, you know, you would need for your pitch and your roll, you kind of, if you have two options to really go off of. You have Brunner yokes, and you got the flight sim yokes, which Brunner yokes have a little bit more torque on their end, which, you know, that makes sense. Wait, where is this? Hold on a second. Let me stay up here. Now I got a good buddy. He's already started his force feedback setup in his Cessna, which is also a dual link yoke setup, and he gave me an awesome idea, which is you could probably save a little bit. You might not get as much force, but honestly, how much force do you really need? You know, when you're flying a GA aircraft, do you really need that much force? I think at the end of the day, as long as you have the force there, you have the resistance. Like, I don't need to be fighting like I'm fighting against a crocodile or something. You know, I just need enough resistance to where I can feel the resistance when I'm pulling versus, you know, what the sim is reading, and, you know, and things of that nature. So what he suggested is, instead of going out and buying like the brand new servo motors from like these companies and Amazon and stuff like that, which I don't even think Amazon really sell servo motors big enough to accommodate what we're doing, he said you can use, which I never thought about this, use the motors out of the steering wheel force feedbacks, or the force feedback steering wheels. And I was just like, that makes so much sense. That is force feedback, and those are servo motors. And guess what? People buy those and throw them away all the time. Like, and I mean, where it's gonna be hard for some, it might be easy for others. Like where I live, man, I live by a military base, and these young guys, when they come into the military, they ain't got nothing else better to do than to sit in their dorm room or the barracks and play video games. And guess what they do? They buy steering wheels, and then next thing you know it, they get deployed, and now they're just trying to make a couple dollars. I could buy two of those for the price of one, snatch the motors out, and then it's just programming them, and then of course, you know, setting it up with the system. Here's the next stop here, Grand Borg. Actually, be more realistic, as most GA has direct connection to the flight surfaces, and some GA planes are rough. So that's my thing. By it being direct driven, right? Because that's the whole sort of purpose of doing the servo motor style. You could, depending on the weather or, you know, whatever's going on, I mean, are you really fighting that hard? Like, if I'm pulling back, because I've had a couple of the gears down, flaps coming down. I've had a couple of the Microsoft Sidewinders, right? Now on the joystick, it has some pretty decent, you know, resistance and force feedback for a joystick though. But when you're talking push pull and you're yanking, how much do you really need? I mean, obviously it'll be the forces will be a lot stronger, let's say, in an airliner versus a GA. And I mean, when you think about it, if you've ever played around with one of those steering wheels, those things actually have some pretty good force. So if you could just run two of those and then just, you know, run your connections to your yoke, there's your force feedback. And with those, you don't even really, that won't even be a mobiflight thing. You'll have to run that. There's other softwares that you will buy or download that will connect to flight sim, so it'll actually read the force feedback. Beautiful. Okay. Gears coming up. What's our time right now? It is 11:57. Yeah. Technically, we got 2 more stops. But I think we're going to make this next one the last one. Because that other one is actually a pretty decent ride there. Let me see. So this one's about 18. We got 18 miles on this one. And then the last leg is 60 miles. So we might go ahead and finalize this trip, and then we'll add the other one in. That'll be the first one for tomorrow. So it'll be a nice stretch out the gate. Let's see. No, you have it backwards. Most modern airlines have hydraulic assisted controls, so you don't really have force feedback. Yeah, that's true. Now you say that. So I don't have my other phone on me. Dang, I left it out. I normally try to keep it on me so I can look at other stuff. Well, considering that Bruner is pretty much your top notch for force feedback, right? And I know when I looked up flight sims, I looked up their force versus Bruner's. It's a little lower, but then they also have another one where you can change the driver board to amp up the forces to the motors. So if you look at what Bruner has to offer, and it's crazy too, because when you look at the pitch Newton meters versus the roll Newton meters, it's a real big difference. Which I guess it makes sense. I mean, you definitely will have more force on your pitch axis than you do with your roll. Now I've never flown a GA aircraft. I mean, you would definitely have more knowledge as far as the force that you fight when it comes to a GA aircraft, considering that, you know, they're directly connected, you know, the linkage. So what's going on here? Why are you starting to bug out all of a sudden? Here we go again. Starting to do that buggery stuff for no reason. Yeah, as soon as I'm done with this stream, I gotta roll this thing back, because I have no idea why it's starting to do what it's doing. And I don't know if the stream is picking it up, but like it just hits a wall, and then like the frame just out of nowhere just drop for no reason. And there's nothing out here for it to be doing that. So I guess to finish up the conversation, Force feedback is definitely within my grasp. But what I would like to do for the time being, because like I said, those motors are not cheap. And now my first attempt at doing force feedback, I was just running some 775 motors. I still have those, and them jokers are actually pretty strong, to be honest with you. But it was a prototype, needed a lot of work. So why? What is your malfunction? Weird. So like I said, I think for the time being, I just want to do a motorized yoke, just to kind of have the sensation that it's somewhat force feedback, at least like to see it move. Like to sit here and see the trim wheel move is already a cool feature. Like wow, it actually turns and keeps the plane level. But I definitely want to do a force feedback, and the force feedback yoke that I want to do, I want to go back to my first prototype of the throwover yoke, like the original bonanzas. My first prototype, the proof of concept was there for sure. Here we go. Are you back up and running now? Did you see that? It's like she got hung up and now she's smooth again. I tell you, never a dull moment in the land of simming. But like I said, my first prototype was amazing. Like I said, it worked. Like I literally, and if you haven't watched that video, go back. I can't remember exactly what I think I said. First look at single throwover yoke, and I could actually like fly the plane in the pilot seat, and then I could flip the whole yoke over, and it would still work. So now that I kind of have a better sense of how it works, now it's just building a better version of it. And with a 3D printer, I think I can accomplish that. So, all right, let's slow this baby down. I'm coming in hot. Oh man, that ain't cool. Right on the last leg. Man. Right on the last leg. Okay. I gotta slow her up here. There we go. Speed checks gears coming down. Lights are coming on. First notch of flaps is coming in. Well, now I gotta butter this for Jack. Bleed off some of this speed and internet. Not internet. See, I'm sitting here reading it. I'm reading the thing. Oh, you're back? Okay. Cool. Second notch of flaps is coming in, and we got the runway in sight. Gear down, flaps down. Yeah, I'm definitely rolling back this Windows. I think that's the culprit. And when I do, I'll let you know, Speedy, how things go. Because I'm going to roll that before I go to sleep tonight. I'm about to roll that back and do a test run. I got to give me something to eat, though. I'm hungry.
500.
Well, not hungry, I guess you could say. I got the munchies. Oh, beautiful approach. We gonna keep that at 80. Slowly bleed off down to 75 over the fence here. Keep that same attitude, Robbie. Don't let it drop on you. And we just gonna hold about right there. And we down. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I was flying VFR yesterday. It was sweet. Man, I'm gonna have to find somebody with a VR and do some flight simming in it just to see. I'll probably never own a VR for flight sim, but I just want to see what's all the hype about. Hey, there's Jack. Let's see. They got everything lined up over here. I'll tell you what. I'll park over here. How about that? I like that orange. That orange is nice. There we go. Look at Jack, y'all. Jack coming in here with that clean paint. All right. After landing checks, cowl flaps are open, flaps are up, transponder is on standby, avionics is off. All of that stuff is off. Mixture is coming out. Magnetos is off. Fuel select off. Power is off. And there we go, y'all. Fun flight. Love the conversations as always. Tomorrow we will start off here. Our first leg is 60 miles. That's where I was trying to end up, but I got to go back and look at the airports for the seaplanes to see where that line up, because I know we're close to it. I just can't remember exactly where the guy started them out, but I know we're not far. So we might be seaplaning tomorrow. We might have to fly out of here first. Yeah, I've seen that. The OG, he talked like it's what is it? I forget what it's called. Mixed reality, is that what it's called? Like reality mix, or It's pretty much where you're VR, but you can actually like cut out a part in your headset to really see your panels. Yeah, Russ Barlow, OG. Uh, and they've come a long way with that. I saw that video. That's some pretty, man. Technology is getting kind of crazy. To where you're still in your own virtual reality, but you're in your own cockpit as well. That's some cool stuff. That's definitely some cool stuff. But I still prefer the fully enclosed. Ready Player One in 10 years. Now ring the bell. You're making me feel kind of stupid right now. Now I gotta go back and I gotta go see what that's all about. Ready Player One in 10. Alright, let me screenshot that so I can go back and look at it. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a time when movie didn't really exist in my life because I was working. That was really pretty much most of my Air Force career. I can count in the 10 years when I was in the military about how many movies I've actually watched. I was either working on a plane or I was flying in one. So by the time I got home, the last thing I wanted to look at was a movie. So there's a lot of things that I missed out. I'm still playing catch up on movies, and you're not the only one. People always be like, "You haven't seen that? Never heard of it." That came out. Had no idea. Mixed reality. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Is that what I said? Yeah, my sugar low. I need to go. I got some zebra cakes I need to go munch on. Can't talk right now. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and end this stream on this one, so I can go eat some zebra cakes and do some rollbacks on the sim and see if I can get these problems resolved for tomorrow. And then I gotta go look at where is it at? Ready Player One. So I got the next couple hours worked out for me. I enjoyed y'all, as I always do. We will pick this thing back up tomorrow. And like I said, we might, or I might, I don't know how Jack feel, but what I might try to do, I don't know. I'll keep it to myself. We'll see how it goes. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, I might fly out of here with the plane and then pick up with the seaplane down the road. I don't know. You never know over here at Cardboard Sim. But that's it. Good night, all. Y'all have a good one, and we will see you tomorrow, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right back in Cardboard Sim. Y'all have a good one. Cardboard Sim, signing out.